This is August. Hi, August. Say hi. Hi. Okay, bye bye. So we'll probably remember 27 Dresses as just another rom-com, but I think it was more than that. This movie is highlighting the year in the life of a people pleaser, which might describe a lot of us. Now, Jane couldn't say no to save her life. Like, she couldn't say no for her own sanity. She said yes to everything. She had zero boundaries, and she was always busy trying to solve everybody's problem and be there for everyone. And it's not hard to see how being a people pleaser can be seen by people and taken advantage of.
I just thought you might be hungry.
That's why I love you.
I love you too. Oh, yeah, you're right. I needed that.
Hi, my name is Susan. If you're new here, welcome. If you're not new here, how is it going? Why this movie is actually called 27 Dresses is because Jane actually had 27 dresses from weddings that she went to because she couldn't say no. Now, Tess, her sister, comes into town. She's bolder. She's not apologetic. She's more direct with people. And she's portrayed not to be exactly selfless like her sister. So she meets Jess's boss, who Jane had a crush on for the longest time, right? Jane had a secret crush. My dog is really making a lot of noise. Anyway, Jane had a secret crush on her boss, but I don't think her boss knew. I feel like he kind of knew, but he ignored it. But anyway, we're past that. Her sister comes and she meets Jane's boss. They start to date, right? And Jane is so jealous, but she's able to rant to her best friend, and she tells her how terrible she feels seeing her sister and her longtime crush together. Now, Tess looks perfect on the outside, but we also see that she feels the need to reinvent herself to win Judge's affection. So she does things like fabricating a version of herself that really doesn't exist, right? She's claiming to be a vegetarian when in fact she eats a lot of meat. Now, Jane discovers this and confronts her and is like, Tess, you need to stop lying to George about who you are. Tell him about who you are. Why are you lying that you're a vegetarian? Why are you lying about all this stuff, right? And she literally threatens Tess, and she's like, well, if you don't tell him these things about you, I'm going to. I think this is when she became the villain in the story. During the engagement party, Jane is supposed to come and give a toast, right? Okay, so she does this slideshow where she essentially shows pictures of her sister doing the opposite of exactly all the things that she has told George about herself. So for example, she's trying to throw shade by highlighting that George and her sister have international studies in common, but she shows George graduating from school, and then she shows her sister with two foreigners that are guys, right? Like, trying to indicate that she has hung out with them, and that's her idea of having interest in international studies. Okay, so basically she was throwing shade. She also showed her sister in a slide eating meat when her sister had told George that she's a vegetarian. I think to me this was like awful, really awful. She had no right to do this to her sister. I have mixed feelings about this. I think first of all, it was not in her place. If she had wanted her sister to tell George, the truth about herself, and her sister decided not to, then it's not her business. It wasn't her business to do that at all. She should have left George to figure it out himself if all the things she was saying to him was true or not. I also feel like highlighting that she had this flaw showed us that this character was not perfect. Okay, even though we're rooting for her in the movie, it was a good way to see that, people at the end of the day are not without flaws, and this was probably a flaw that she had. In my mind, I'm like, where was this energy when people were asking you to be their bridesmaid? Like, why couldn't you tell them no? Why are you using this energy to embarrass your sister at her engagement party? Now, I think Jane's breaking point really came when Tess changed their mother's wedding dress, and it looked totally different from what it was originally. Jane had been looking forward to wear this dress at her wedding, but now she's like, what? Like, she can't recognize the dress anymore, and at this point she's like, no, I can't take this anymore. Like, I'm not involved in your wedding. Like, count me out. Like, how dare you do this? I think at this point we're like, yes, go Jane. Like we're all happy with Jane at this point because, she kind of called out her sister here and she was not mincing words. And Tess also was shocked. What's going on? My sister is always like happy with me, happy with everything that I do. Why is she upset? Jane sets a boundary. Jane puts her foot down and is at this point that she's like, I'm not sacrificing the things I want, right, for anybody else's convenience, right? I'm going to say my mind right now. So I think this confrontation really helped the both of them. It helped Jane to realize that, her saying yes to everyone was harmful to her, right? And it was helping people to take advantage of her. And on the other hand, it also forced her sister Tess to reflect on the fact that she had been selfish and she had caused a lot of pain for them, right, over the years. And it helped her to like reflect on this and see how she could change. Of course, it's a rom-com, and rom-coms will always rom-com. So she was, pursuing a romance with Kevin, who was the journalist that had been writing a story about her and her 27 dresses. They had a fight, but then they go back together and they reconciled and they had their happy ever after ending. Another thing I wanted to point out about this is the fact that sometimes if we really look at it as people pleasers, for those of us that are in that category, you sometimes let me not say you, because I think I'm part of this, but sometimes there's a savior complex there. Like, it's not just about not wanting to disappoint people, it's also sometimes about wanting to be everything to everyone, and it can really harm you, really harm us. I recently realized that this can actually be a form of pride. You have not just seen it that way yet, when you think that, oh, if I don't say yes to this person at this point, their lives will be over, or they won't be able to do this without me. But really, in the grand scheme of things, you're not that important. I'm sorry. Okay, like, if you say no to somebody today, someone else will help out, someone else would do what's needs to be done. What I'm trying to point out here is, like, it's a little bit of a humble pie to accept, but it's sometimes good to realize that it's good to prioritize other people's needs above ourselves, because it's being selfless. But doing it all the time, at the expense of coming across as authentic, or even having good relationships that are not just based off of you saying yes, right? Sometimes you say no and your friends understand why you're saying no, or your family understands why you're saying no. It's a good way to have a good relationship where you are benefiting, your friends are benefiting, everyone is benefiting from the relationship. It's not one-sided. I hope I'm making sense. Yeah, thank you. Let me know if you watched this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Don't forget. And I will see you in the next video.